Okay, Rodent Sports back with another unplanned video because we have big NFL news. And that big NFL news is that the Deshaun Watson saga is over. Of course, this started with a trade demand. He had signed in 2020 a contract for 5 years, $146 million, and after a terrible 2020 season, decided that he wanted out of Houston. Then came the allegations of sexual assault and a criminal investigation into those allegations, as well as 21 civil suits. That criminal investigation has resulted in no charges. The civil suits are still on. And of course now, with no criminal charges coming and apparently no further discipline from the NFL, the trade waters started to move very quickly, and it has now been done. Houston trades Deshaun Watson to Cleveland and they get and a fifth round pick for in 2024 to get Cleveland's first rounders in 2022, 2023, and 2024, plus a 2023 third rounder and a 2024 fourth rounder. So quite a haul in draft capital. I saw criticism of this online.
Did you just trade my future for a pet rock? See?
But I think given that he had all this stuff hanging over his head, that he hasn't played in a year, that even though he's acknowledged as quite a great player, he's had a major injury in his career. Major knee injury, so that always worries you. And he hasn't had any postseason success yet, even though he has gotten Houston to the postseason. Now, a lot of people have given him a pass for that because they're like, Houston's has been a shambles of the organization, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But those are the questions here. But Houston's done it with Cleveland. Cleveland and their fans had enough of Baker Mayfield, and now Baker Mayfield is going to be somewhere else. We don't know where yet.
They cleaned out them lockers today.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of talk about Seattle and Indianapolis, who, of course, both traded quarterbacks that they had that had been established, and both are certainly looking at quarterback. If not somebody like Baker Mayfield and Jimmy Garoppolo, they're looking in the draft. So very fascinating, this deal. Again, I think Houston's done all right here, considering everything that's gone on. This has hung over their franchise for over a year, and now they are finally done with it. They can make a clean break of things. They're going to go forward with Davis Mills this year, which is fine because Davis Mills actually performed admirably last year, I felt, which is why I felt David Culley's firing was terribly unjust for Houston. And so now they're gonna go forward, and we're gonna see what happens with Lovie Smith. And they liked Lovie. The players really liked Lovie Smith and got behind that hire. So who knows? Maybe Houston. Maybe if Davis Mills continues to develop and play well, maybe Houston will have something here. And they've got draft capital to really improve that franchise's roster the next 2 or 3 years. Or if Davis Mills doesn't work out, they have draft capital to move up and get a quarterback if that's indeed what they want to do. Because let's remember this, folks. 2023 is supposed to be a really good year for quarterbacks. Among them, Bryce Young in Alabama, who will be draft eligible, and C.J. Stroud at Ohio State will be draft eligible, and there are others.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like this class of quarterbacks coming in as much. I don't mind. The other eye-popping part, 5 years. This is Deshaun Watson's new deal. 5 years, $230 million, and that is all guaranteed.
I'm rich. Hey.
There is no you can cut and save the money. Fully guaranteed deal. So that is interesting because the first one really was Kirk Cousins. And Minnesota has persisted with it, even though I think they've not gotten value for money. Julio Jones had a fully guaranteed deal and ended up getting traded from Atlanta to Tennessee, which is Julio Jones has not as yet produced for Tennessee the way he did for Atlanta. So we'll see how this works out. Certainly the right profile to give a fully guaranteed deal. young quarterback, considered already a big time player, and you probably expecting him. They're hoping he's going to be there 10, 11, 12, 13 years, maybe more. Cleveland, it's interesting. They've been close. They've had talent. They won a playoff game under Baker Mayfield. Don't forget, went into Pittsburgh and walloped them. But last year was intensely frustrating. They really probably should have been a playoff team, and Baker Mayfield had a lot of pretty awful fourth quarters that cost them in that regard. So Cleveland has struck, and they have struck big. We've heard all sorts of rhetoric from all sorts of different teams, including the team that I support, talking about big swings. Well, this was a big, huge swing. This was a big swing for the fences. And of course, there will be lots of controversy. There will be lots of fans that are upset given these allegations against Deshaun Watson, and given the fact that the civil suits are on, and that and as of yet he's not settling. He's determined to fight these things all the way, which again, if he actually is innocent, is exactly what he should do. He should fight them tooth and nail all the way down if he didn't do what these women are alleging. So this was the big domino that had to fall. We had other big dominoes fall first, but for me, Watson was the one, because Wilson moved, Rodgers stayed, Watson was the last big-time franchise QB that was available. Miami was in it, and then they were out. Carolina was in it, and Deshaun Watson was not interested. There were rumors that Washington tried. Deshaun Watson was not interested in that. Don't really blame him at all for there. And look, Cleveland's got talent. They got two really good running backs. They have some talented wide receivers, even though Jarvis Landry is probably going to be looking for a new home. They have a pretty good defense with, arguably one of the two or three best defensive players in football on it, Myles Garrett. It's a tough conference, but it's a tough division because you're in the same division. Cleveland's in the same division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. But gosh, it's really un-Cleveland-like in some respects, but more to the point, it is a major statement. They've given Baker Mayfield every chance, and they've had enough. And the thing is, most of the fans are going to be fully behind this, in the sense that they'd had enough of Baker Mayfield too.
You see, I recently came to realize that I too suffer from a disability. It's called GWS. Good Worker Syndrome. I get sick to my stomach unless everyone around me is given 110%. The symptoms include pride, responsibility, and a feverish enthusiasm. It used to be a common condition among Americans.
I've already heard from Browns fans, though, who are livid because they can't stand Watson and they think he's an abuser and all that, which is certainly their right to think that, and they can feel that way because, again, none of it's been settled, even if it's not been criminally charged, because it's a different civil is a different burden of proof than criminal, and that's the way it is. So Cleveland's going to be fascinating. They're going to be fascinating next season to see what happens and to see if Deshaun Watson can really elevate them, because it was one thing being in Houston. Yeah, there was pressure.
Emotional damage!
But the organization was kind of a mess the whole time he was there. Bill O'Brien did not have the respect of a lot of fans and probably a good chunk of the media around the country in the NFL. And, of course, it's gone now. And he was down in college coaching with Nick Saban in Alabama. And I'll tell you, he's going to Cleveland where the expectations are going to be not only just monstrous, the attention and the scrutiny is going to be out of this world. The Browns are the most important thing in that region, have been for quite a while, even as terrible as they are. The fan base is rabid, and they're the greatest. If you win, they're the greatest. They'll carry you. They'll carry you through the streets if you could take them. If you win consistently, and you could even take them to a Super Bowl. So he's going into something that's going to be 100% different from what he dealt with in Houston, and it'll be interesting to see if he can handle it. So that is it. An incredible day. Again, the NFL upstaging the NCAA tournament, doing its level best to do so with this news. Cleveland will probably rocket up the betting boards, although again, the AFC, my God. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Deshaun Watson still. I mean, golly, it is just loaded. The AFC is just loaded. Talk about tough terrain.
The evil that lies within, from down in the fiery depths of the earth where nightmares begin.
You know, if you make the playoffs in the AFC, you've earned it. You've earned it because you're up again. You're in a league. You're in a conference full of great quarterbacks, and most of them great young quarterbacks. So pretty going to be fun to watch all those teams battle it out at the top of that conference next season. And man, of course, the other coin of the realm is not only offensive line but defensive line, because if you don't have pass rushers that can get at those quarterbacks, you're probably a sitting duck against them. So hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, comment, share it around. I always appreciate the conversation. That's Rodent Sports. Until next time.
That's it. We're done, right?